Oh, hello, NERDVENGERS. How are you? Welcome to the stream. On my way to the tower, of course, and it's going to be a good day. Last night, the world premiere of Marvel's The Eternals. A lot of people talking about it. We've got those first social media reviews. And I want to dig in. I want to talk about the good. And I want to look at some of the things that people are saying that are, a little questionable about the movie. It seems like it's going to be a whole lot of movie. And a lot of interesting things to get into and speculate with regards to that. So I'm looking forward to do that. Chet, pull the camera around. Thank you. I also want to talk about updates about the MCU movie delays. Kevin Feige had some interesting things to say last night on the red carpet. It's going to be a good show, man. We'll get into all of that. We'll talk about a little bit of Q&A, but no spoilers. No spoilers in this stream. We will be doing a video talking about the full-on spoilers for Eternals later today. I know some of you are like, how could he do that? Pretty easily, actually. Pretty easily. So we'll do that later in a video, but no spoilers on today's stream. Instead, we'll just be talking about the different things that people are saying about the film. Again, I think it's actually a pretty interesting conversation. I'm going to do that same thing I always try to do. I want to try to think critically. I want to talk about the things that maybe aren't on the surface there, right? Everybody's super positive about the movie, but I want to talk about some of the things people are saying that are a little critical about it. That is not to say that I'm not excited for the movie. That is not to say that I'm not going to enjoy the film, and it's definitely not to say that you shouldn't enjoy the movie either. So, I'm pulling into the tower. I'll see you in a second. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm excited, man. This is going to be a fun stream. I am legitimately looking forward to talking with you all about this. A lot of interesting things being said about the movie. Again, we will be talking about spoilers, not here, but we'll be talking about spoilers later on in a separate video. So keep it out of here, guys. If you saw it out there on the interwebs, keep the spoilers out of here if you would be so kind. It's always tricky with that kind of stuff, man, but we try to just respect people's wishes. You know, a lot of the NERDVENGERS are into spoiler culture. We don't really care. We just want to talk about it, and there are some very interesting things to get into with regards to that. But we're going to keep it out of here, okay? Interestingly, though, getting sort of into that a little bit, there was this thing that happened yesterday, which I thought was pretty interesting, where at first, when they had the first press screenings, they cut the film before the post-credit scenes. So they cut the film before the post-credit scenes, and I remember because people were sort of talking about that, right? People were talking about that, and I thought it was interesting. I was like, that's a really interesting strategy. That's quite different than Sony's strategy, you know, that where they sort of kind of leaked out, I would say more or less intentionally leaked out the post-credit scene for Venom, Let There Be Carnage, to create buzz and to create hype. I thought it was actually really a good idea that Marvel would keep the post-credit scenes from being seen yesterday. I was like, oh, that's awesome. You don't really need that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really need that. And then instead, they showed it at the premiere, which is such an odd choice. Like, it was weird to me that they would say, we're not going to talk about those things, or we're not going to show those things to press, but we'll show it at the premiere. And then it's just kind of mixed messaging there, you know, mixed messaging there a little bit, in my opinion. But let's pull it up on the research board. Let's get into it. Let's talk all about it. This is a pretty good post here on Reddit that goes into a lot of different folks' thoughts about the movie. There's also some people that I wanted to mention that I have sort of on our Twitter feed, that I want to look into as far as their feelings of the film as well. I'll tell you this. In general, and, we'll talk more about my feelings about all of this after we go through all of this stuff. In general, very positive. Very positive. So, I think, just like a lot of other Marvel movies, this will be a high-quality movie, and by a lot of different metrics, it'll be really, really entertaining, and it'll be a really, really fun time. So, kind of expect that to be Marvel. However, there are some really interesting things being said about the movie as well that I do want to touch on, okay? So, let's get into this, guys. Let's get into this together. By the way, I did see a new member coming on in. Let me see here. Gavon. I hope that's how you pronounce your name. Gavon Johnson. Welcome to the Nerdvengers. You are a Nerdvenger now. I see your super chat too, and I appreciate it. We'll go over super chats in the back half of today's stream. By the way, there is a good VV drop that I got to try to get today, and later on in today's stream, we will be giving away, we'll be doing a raffle rather for one of the Marvel NFTs on VV. So we'll do that later on in the show as well. Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to just go up. Well, let's start with Eric Davis here. He says, Marvel's Eternals is spectacularly weird and rich with a new MCU mythology that makes it feel separate from everything else. It's honestly refreshing. There's a bitter sweetness to the film that you feel in its sunset shots. A definite Chloe Zhao touch. It's soulful and thoughtful. Sounds pretty cool to me. I even like the idea of weird, right? I'm kind of into weird. I think that weird can be really fun with these kind of movies. So that's pretty cool. But then I want to jump in to what Scott Manzel says down here. And you guys are going to know exactly why I'm so hyped up about this. Because your boy was right. So check this out. It says Eternals is Marvel's version of Zack Snyder's Justice League. A film that builds upon a cast of unknown characters and does so with great success. Chloe Zhao's direction is superb. Easily one of the best looking Marvel films of all time. Insane post-credit scenes too. Again, we're not going to talk about that right now. We'll talk about that in a video later. But he said it. He said the thing. What have I been telling you guys? What have I been telling you for weeks now? I said it looks like Zack Snyder's Justice League. Okay? It feels like Zack Snyder's Justice League. In many different ways, it's an ensemble. Okay? It's bringing these heroes together to fight a greater evil. Even the cinematography and the style that she uses is more Zack Snyder than it is typical Marvel. That's something you're going to see repeated in a lot of the things that people are saying. Some of the people that are saying this in a seemingly negative way are saying, and then this is something we talked about before. Remember when we went over the trailer breakdown together, one of the things that I said was, I was like, man, this is so different than Marvel. I'm really curious as to how Marvel fans are going to react to it. Because, there's a lot of things people say about Marvel movies, and yeah, there are valid criticisms for some of the things that Marvel does, but it sort of creates a brand and a feeling, a really distinct feeling for Marvel. Anyways, let's keep going. Perry Nemiroff says, Eternals is dense, and I felt the weight of the exposition often. Movies at its best when the focus is on the Eternals recreating their family, the humor of it, and the passion when they fight for each other and the things they love. Also, Angelina Jolie in the MCU is everything. It's pretty interesting, man. She said it's dense. And she felt the weight of the exposition often. What is exposition? Exposition is when you have to explain something kind of to the audience. And it can border on this thing where it's like, you're not, like, the characters aren't necessarily naturally talking about this, but they need to in order to explain something to the audience. Okay, so, maybe, again, something that you'll see sort of repeated throughout these. Let's keep going here. Dial M says, Eternals was my most anticipated MCU for good reason. Chloe Zhao absolutely delivered an epic movie that really is anchored by powerful performances from the whole cast. Standout characters for me are Cersei, McKeary, and Sprite. Wow, what a movie. Super positive there. Sounds like that person had a really good time. Dorian Park says, Eternals was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and I'm happy to report it did not disappoint at all. Chloe Zhao takes you on a thrilling and emotional journey. The visuals are incredible, and the cast absolutely kills it. The cosmic side of the MCU is expanding. Again, super, super positive stuff. It seems like it was a really fun ride, incredible visuals. The cast is really, really fun. Cosmic side of things expanding, which, you know, I agree, and definitely they're expanding. Pretty fun. Brandon Davis here says, Eternals is a whole lot of movie. It's shot with a massive scope, looking visually different and more intimate than anything else in Marvel. It has laughs, great surprises, and heart to go with a gigantic, crowded story it unpacks. Chloe Zhao has a really unique visual stamp. That's cool. Tessa Smith says, Eternals is a freaking masterpiece. So this is crazy. Okay, let's just stop for a second here. This is honestly a little bit more of what I personally expected to hear. Something I personally expected to hear a little bit more was masterpiece, okay? I really like a lot of the things that I hear about Chloe. I really like the idea that she didn't actually even really grow up on movies. She grew up on manga and anime. And she brought a lot of that sensibility to her movie making process. I find that to be really cool. What do we always talk about here? You know, I totally agree that diversity is a very, very important thing. I tend to believe, though, that it's because of the diversity of perspectives. It's the diversity of thought. It's the diversity of how to do a thing and how to approach a thing. That's like, you know, in the realm of ideas and things like that, it's really beneficial to have people that have diverse vision, diverse backgrounds, and all these different things, because it adds to the flavor. It adds to the spice. I really personally was looking for this movie to be something of a masterpiece, that you wouldn't just do this, like you wouldn't just stray from your formula unless you had an incredible artistic vision and something that you could really deliver a massive punch, right? So let's see what Tessa continues to say here. Oh. Eternals is a freaking masterpiece, packed with adrenaline right from the start, but also filled with lots of heart and humor. So many MCU firsts. Your mind will be blown. Nods to the comic, but a totally unique story. Those end credits are game changers. Very cool. And then Grace Randolph, who I know many of you guys absolutely love, right? Says, Eternals is the most un-MCU film to date. So much so that it feels like a different franchise. Very interested to see how Marvel fans react to that. Now, look, you could, some people will just say, oh, it's Grace, you know, it's Grace saying that she doesn't like it, blah, 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 you know, and maybe you're all upset about that. But the reality is, this is something we called from a mile away, dude. It very clearly looks and feels like a very different vibe than your regular scheduled Marvel programming. And I am indeed interested to see how fans react to it. So I think it's a totally fair thing. It's seemingly one of the first, like, kind of negative ideas about the movie. But let's read on. So Beyond the Rainbow, I've never heard of them before, says Eternals is a true piece of genius. Chloe Zhao takes everything you think you know about the MCU and throws it out the window. I'm not sure how I feel about that statement. This is the reset Phase 4 so desperately needed. The new Avengers will return. Bruh, that is a baffling statement. Like, that's baffling to me. It's a true piece of genius. She takes everything you think you know about the MCU and throws it out the window. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I spent 10 years watching the MCU, watching things back and forth, you know, this way and that way. I have basically an entire channel, maybe an entire 2 channels, dedicated to breaking down some of these things and creating knowledge and trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And to claim that all of that is being thrown out the window, not necessarily something I really want to hear. I'm all for recontextualization and some of the fun stuff that I think could be coming. Loki, in some ways, does this as well. But I don't know. It's a baffling statement. This is the reset phase 4 so desperately needed, and the new Avengers will return. Interesting. Okay, now, if you look at where are we at here? So there's a couple of different people that have some pretty interesting thoughts about the movie that I would like to go over with you guys now, okay? So, this one I thought was pretty interesting here, okay? Greg Alba, who is half of the Real Rejects. I like Greg Alba. I mean, I've never really spoken to him or whatever, but he does great content. I like his stuff. This is a really interesting statement here. And I want you guys to pay attention. And again, some of you guys are like, don't do it, Josh. Don't do it. Don't go to the dark side. Don't start talking about how it could not be that great or whatever. Listen, we're just here to have an adult conversation about our cartoon comic book movies. Okay? It ain't that deep. Everybody chill your little butts out and let's get into this. Jeez. Here's what Greg says. It is interesting going on Twitter to see the social media reactions, because when I got out, I talked to a lot of people, and there was a much wider range of opinions on the film than what I'm seeing here. Okay. So, are we all still okay? Has everybody started to riot? Susan! Hang on 1 second. Give me 1 second here. Call down to the lobby real quick. Susan. Yeah, it's me. Yeah. Listen. Have the riots started? Okay, no riots yet. Okay, that's good. Just keep an eye on it, you know what I mean? Like we don't want another Saturday, you know what I mean? Let's chill out. Let's try to. Okay. Yep, sounds good. No, we're not going to talk about the Rays right now. Okay, I'm out of here. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay. Seems like we're okay. Everybody calm your butts. I think all that Greg is saying, and this should be freaking obvious, but I think what he is saying is that when he got out of the movie, he talked to a bunch of these people that had varying opinions about the film. And then he went on social media, and it looks like a blanket of positivity and praise. And here's the deal. Here's the deal with that. I think it's worth talking about. Okay? I think it's worth talking about. I think it's worth having this discussion. I think it's worth pointing out that while I'm super excited for the movie, and I personally think I'm really going to love it. I think I'm going to absolutely love the Zack Snyder directed Eternals. I think I'm here for it, but I'm also a cinephile, right? And I think the part of me that's a cinephile might really, really enjoy it and really, really like certain parts of it. But the part of me that's just that kid, right? The boy in me that's just playing with my Marvel toys and wants Spider-Man and all the Spider-Mans and friggin', you know, Iron Man and all that stuff. Like the part of me that's just like a big sweaty nerd and loves the MCU might not be so tickled by what they're doing in this film. Is that okay to say? You know what I mean? Oh, and if you guys didn't know, I did go to film school. I don't know if I've ever told you guys that before. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that before, but I did go to film school. Okay? So I wanted to point this out because it's refreshing for Greg to say this. How do we get to a place where it's brave? It's brave for him to talk about the fact that the opinions you're seeing online may or may not actually represent the opinions of people that walked out of the movie and said what they had to say about it. Okay. So again, yeah, I totally tweeted this. Zack Snyder's version of here or whatever. A couple of interesting takes that I saw out there. I believe I saw John Campea saying, like, yeah, let's see here. Let's see what Campea had to say. Here's what he says here. So, Eternals is dense, rich, and has more depth of storytelling than anything the MCU has done thus far. That seems really cool. And is the most beautiful MCU film to date. Also seems really awesome, but I need time to unpack it all, to be honest. More tomorrow, but here's his quick thoughts. One more thought on Eternals without giving any details away. The movie's scope was so vast and so encompassing, it sort of makes the rest of the MCU to this point, even Infinity War and Endgame, almost seem trite and inconsequential. That's kind of a weird thing to say, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's just interesting. You know, it's interesting. I think, where's John Roca? I wonder if I get John Roca. Probably spelling it wrong, huh? I want to see, because he had something really interesting that he put on his, somebody help me out here, chat. How am I not finding John? Why am I misspelling the crap out of this, or how's this going down? I mean, you guys know I can't spell anything. But I want to find John. The Outlaw. Yes. Oh, Roca. Yes. Yeah. I respect John's opinions here. Huh? Hey, there he is. Okay. Here's something kind of interesting. Okay. He said, Eternals is a stunning, gorgeous movie that further cements Chloe Zhao as a visually enthralling filmmaker, but there's a coldness or distance here with a lack of organic chemistry between these actors as a team. That left me unmoved by it at all. Whoa. Seeing it again tomorrow. Pretty interesting stuff. Pretty interesting thing to say. So what's the takeaway? What do we say? What's the takeaway here? I think generally speaking, the movie's probably dope. And I think a lot of people will enjoy it. But I definitely don't think it's the masterpiece I was personally expecting. I don't think it's going to be necessarily a universally praised movie. I think, and we'll get into this in more of the spoiler discussion later, I think there's some stuff going on in the spoiler stuff that's like weird. You know, just straight up weird. And I don't know how folks are going to take it, right? So we'll get into a lot of that maybe more in the spoiler thing. Ultimately, of course, everybody should go see the movie and make up their own mind. But what do we even look at reviews for at all? I think the reviews we look for is to sort of get a gauge and sort of a measure of what we think we'll see in the movie, right? For some people, they use reviews to see if they're going to go check it out. They want to know, am I going to go to the theaters to watch this, or am I going to wait for digital? A lot of us here are probably not in that camp. A lot of us here are probably going to go see it regardless. In fact, let's just say, put a 1 into the chat if you're going to see this movie. You know what I mean? Like, put a 1 into the chat. I assume a lot of us are just going to go check it out. I'm definitely one of those people. I'm going to go check it out. And depending on how I feel about it, I'll check it out several different times. I think, for me, if you had seen a lot of things in the reviews, right, where people were saying stuff like, it's the greatest MCU movie ever, or like, this is Winter Soldier level, or like, this, like, you know, is, like, there could have been certain things said that would have made me go in with an expectation of being like, bruh, I'm not missing any of this. I want to be fully engaged. Like, dude, this might be the first time I watch the next great masterpiece of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know what I mean? Yo, thanks for the VV reminder. So, dude, first appearance of Kingpin. First appearance of Kingpin today. ladies and gentlemen, we got about 4 minutos before that happens. Okay. So we got like 4 minutes here. Let me try to make my point. There could have been many things said that literally was like, yo, like, I must see this. Like, this is so crazy. Like, and set my expectations at a pretty high level. I think where I'm at now is I expect it to be very good. But I expect there to be some lagging in the second act. You know what I mean? I'm going to be watching for the chemistry of the characters and just see how I feel about the chemistry of this cast. I'm in for what I think will be a total visual treat, which, like, I'm excited. Like, of course, I love that kind of stuff. But I don't know, man. I'm not expecting this movie to probably crack my top 5 of MCU movies, you know, and that's just me. You know, that's kind of where I am at with it. I sort of expect it to be what it is, and to have a lot of fun with it, but I'm not really, like, expecting it to be top 5. Now, here's the deal. Could it be top 5? 100%. 100%. You know what I mean? Like, bruh, like, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. You know I can't. I can't lie to you. Like, sometimes I wish I could lie, you know what I mean, and just come out here and be like, Eternals is the greatest thing you've ever seen. Everybody's talking about it like it's the dopest dope you've ever smoked, you know what I mean? Oh my goodness, can't wait. I'm gonna watch it back to back, get in there, watch it like that. But I just can't do that, right? I'm a little bit more critical, a little bit more honest. I think there's an interest for me to see how the movie's gonna hit me. You know what I mean? I'm just going to go in and just let it do its thing. You know, wash over me, Zack Snyder's Eternals. You know what I mean? Just wash over me. I can't wait to have that experience and feel what it's going to feel like. But then I'm going to sit back and I'm going to kind of think about where I place it in the MCU, how I think it has to do with the MCU. And I do think it's worth saying that, hey man, there might have been some aspects of this movie that didn't exactly nail it. There might be some recontextualization that might not even be that desired by Marvel fans, and I'm particularly interested in just how the casual movie-going audience is going to enjoy it. You know, like, it's a Marvel movie that almost feels like it's not a Marvel movie, right? Like, if you look at some of the things that people are saying, like, bruh, it is literally, is it trending? Okay, here we go. Eternals. So I want to get into this and look at this because, bruh, there's a lot of really interesting things that people are saying, like, where it feels like a DC movie. You know what I mean? But not necessarily in a bad way. That's something we said as well. You know what I mean? Eternal stands apart from any of its Marvel predecessors by having a love story between Icarus and Cersei as its through line. There are a lot of characters in the film, tries to give them all thoughtful arc, but I love them together. That seems fun. You know what I mean? It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. So we got about 30 seconds before this VV drop. I do want to get into some of the things that Feige was saying about the movies being pushed back, because that was a big thing that happened yesterday. It's really interesting. And I want to watch particularly this one thing that he said about it, because it's fascinating. It's fascinating what he said about it. But yeah, so we'll get into that in a second here. Then we'll give away an NFT, and then we'll do Q&A. I'm definitely interested in what you... Look, this should be a discussion, you know what I mean? And I definitely want to discuss it with you guys. And boom, let's get this. Let's get this. Let's get this. Buy now. Gimme. I think I got one, boys. Yeah. Oh man, why does it take so long on the process? Like, there's honestly kind of like, I feel like there's almost no way to get a second one when you get stuck in this order receive processing mode. Okay, so I got one, but yeah, it's got to be gone, right? Yeah, so they sell out that fast, you know what I mean? It's pretty wild, man. It's pretty wild. Regardless, I'm pretty excited. This is the NFT there. I'm going to look at the vault in a little bit here, and we'll pick out one of the NFTs that we have, and we'll do a drawing for them via Nerd Coin. So you can spend some coin to get a ticket to try to win one. So that'll be really cool. Okay, let's talk about Kevin Feige. Let's talk about delays. Let's talk about life. Check this out. I find this pretty fascinating what he says here. It's pretty crazy.
Is all the movies moving?
The question should be, why did you announce it today when I was about to do a red carpet and talk to you?
So do you guys see that? He's like a little bit like, the question should really be, why did they announce the delays the day I'm going to go do red carpet interviews? He's pissed. He's a little bit pissed. And I think by all rights, he has the right to be pissed. It's a ridiculous, like, Disney. Come on, man.
That's the real question. I don't have a good answer for that. But I mean, no, it's production shifts and changes. And because we have so many slots, we can just shift slots. So so all the Marvel slots are the same. We're just shifting the movies coming out. And yes, Strange has moved 6 weeks. So instead of there being 3 months between Marvel movies, there'll be 5 months between Marvel movies. And I think that we can all handle that.
So it's kind of funny, like, the way he does it, and like you gotta give this dude a lot of credit, right? Like, he's just great at the boilerplating, and he's great at sort of like taking the narrative in a certain direction. You know, like I recall when he had some of the questions fielded to him about, like, when are we getting this trailer? When are we getting this trailer? He, you know, that famously where he was like, is it not enough? You know what I mean? And like ideas like that. It's a really good strategy from the PR perspective, but it just kind of shows you here that like there is not a clear like level of communication here.
The question should be, why did you announce it today when I was about to do a red carpet and talk to you? That's the real question. I don't have a good answer for that.
You see what I mean? Like, dude, it's just so obvious that like they're not all on the same page over there. But hidden within this sort of boilerplate answer is, I think, the truth. And what he's saying here is that everything is remaining in its spot. Everything is remaining the same way, and instead they are just shifting everything forward into different slots that Disney has, okay? And I think the honest to goodness truth is they are looking at what they have right now, especially with Strange, with some of these other movies, Thor 4, and they're like, we need more time. Like, production is shifting. We want more time to finish these things. I think it's a cascading effect of different circumstances. I know a lot of you guys were like, do you think it has something to do with the strikes? Maybe a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, maybe a little bit. But I think by and large, the truth is he wants to make sure they have the proper and adequate time to absolutely nail Doctor Strange, because I think the Multiverse of Madness is such an important movie to what they're doing and where it is all going. He's basically saying, like, bruh, we need to make sure Doctor Strange absolutely slaps and that we're 100% Gucci on that. And they want to give themselves a little bit of breathing room. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's probably sort of a trickling out effect of how production has still been difficult to manage and do because of Rona and, safety protocols, insurance costs, et cetera, you know, the business of making movies. So it's interesting, man. I don't know. Like, I guess, you know, we'll see what you guys have to say about this in the chat. To me, it's just clearly the case that they're like, we need more time. We're pushing things forward a little bit here. And I think it speaks more to the ambition of what Marvel is trying to do. Like, I don't think it points to, oh, man, the sky's falling. Oh, man, Marvel's showing cracks in the armor. No. From what I understand and from what I believe, the shit's about to be so ambitious. Like, basically, guys, Shang-Chi and Eternals and even Black Widow, I feel as though they were always designed to be sort of buffer movies, because even though they do have a lot of recontextualizing of different aspects of the MCU, they are pretty far away from the multiverse stuff and where it's all going next, right? So I think it was always sort of designed that we would have our sort of gap year, and you'd have all these other projects, and then where we're going from here, you're talking about like super duper connected stuff that will have a massive impact on other projects and things going forward. And so it's because of the weight of that ambition, and he wants to get it right. Like, they're not gonna just put it out there lacklusterly. They want to get it right. You know what I mean? So I think that's ultimately what it is they were like, we just need more time. We have all this crazy stuff we're doing, stuff with Sony Marvel, stuff with the multiverse in general, Fox characters coming in, etc., etc. Ant-Man, or rather Fantastic Four and Nova were said to be going into production into 2023. And I think that those projects, which are sort of being developed right now, will also play off of a lot of the stuff that's coming before. Quantumania, the Marvels, all of this stuff. All of this stuff is super connected. It's all going to be, and he wants it to be tight like a tiger. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my opinion of where we're at with all of that. All right, so let me do a thing here. Let me do a thing here real quick. I'm going to pull us into this screen here, and I want to check something real quick alike. Okay, Sheev, I saw your member for 9 months thing. You hit me up on Discord. It says, and that's awesome, man. I appreciate the love. It says, think I'll get my watermelon sugar high this morning. Happy 9 months, Josh. The kid is yours. Damn. I can't afford all that. They're cutting our shield checks in half. Every time I come out here and don't just repeat what's on the card says, Eternals is the greatest thing you've ever seen. It will visually blow your mind and make all of the other Marvel stuff better. Every time I don't just read from the card, they just keep deducting from our shield checks, bro. So the kid cannot be mine. The kid is not mine. I can't afford it. I wish I could, but I can't afford it. So thank you for that, Sheep. All right, let me just pull something up here. I want to pull up, what do we have in the vault? What do we have in the vault for NFTs? So we have a common Daredevil, a common Hulk, a common Thor Beta Ray Bill, a What If, and an uncommon Uatu and Miles Morales. What kind of a thing do we want to do today? I tell you what, I think we should give away. Let's do the Thor. Let's do the Thor Beta Ray Bill. What do you guys say? Put a 1 into the chat if you're Gucci with that. Let's do the Thor Beta Ray Bill common NFT on Vivi. And let me set this up. Well, I guess I should make sure the chat's not rioting before I do that. Hey, Dorian Trussell, thanks so much for the 50, man. That's very generous. We will definitely get into Q&A in a little bit. I will go over that chat. Thank you so much for that. All right, cool. Let's do the Beta Ray Bill one. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people want that one. Okay. So let me just pull it up here on the old Streamlabs. Give me a moment here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll make it pretty quick. We'll make it 10 minutes. Da-na-na, da-na, banana, 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 da-na-na, da-na-na. Hey, do you think we accomplished it today? I definitely want to know in the chat. In fact, I'll make a poll for this. Here's what my goal was. Today. I want to still be hyped for the film. I want to still be excited for the movie, while not just being like that, like what Greg was talking about, guys, is this whole weird, because I definitely want to be positive. It's a weird thing. I know some people are like, what happened to Mr. Positive? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on with Mr. Positive? I want to be positive. I'm positive on the movie, but I don't want to be just blanketly positive. I don't want to have zero thought go into it. I don't want to ignore possible problems. And so I'd like to believe that we can figure this out. That we can, okay, we got to complete that one. That we can be like, hey, man, here's what might be going on. You know what I mean? With the movie. Here's what some of the more critical thoughts are about the film. And then it's like, your mileage may vary. I'm still super hyped up for it. It's going to be dope. It's going to be fun. I'll tell you this, it's probably going to be way better than Venom. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be a really enjoyable, incredible experience. But I don't know, man. Probably not on the level of some of these other masterpiece movies that are out there. It kind of seems like to me, and we'll talk more about this in the spoiler section of the vid today. There's definitely some things that I think are massive spoilers that, bruh, I don't think people are going to be feeling. You know what I mean? And there's even a really ironic thing. I was briefly talking with Paul today about this. And we were, I don't want to get him in trouble, but we were both laughing about this point that I made because there's something going on with what they did in the movie that is so obviously out of touch that I don't think they realized that they were kind of memeing on themselves with this one plot point. Anyway. Okay. Let's see here. First appearance of Beta Ray Bill. Okay. So we're going to do this for 10 minutes here. Okay. 10 minutes. You must be a subscriber to do this. It's going to cost you $2,000 a ticket. And you can do up to 5 tickets. Okay? Boom. We're going to start it right now. You got 10 minutes as soon as it goes. You've got 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. 10 minutes. Whenever it gets set up there. So you've got that. I also wanted to say to everybody that's chilling, we're not going to do a stream tomorrow at 10:30. And I actually want to start doing Wednesdays a little bit differently, sort of getting ready for Hawkeye. What we're going to do is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, you'll still get your regular stream at 10:30 in the morning. But on Wednesdays, the stream that we're going to do is going to start happening at 6 p.m. So we're going to do evenings on Wednesdays. And what I think we're going to start doing is we're going to read some comics together. So we're going to read a couple of comics together. And then we are going to play some video games. Okay, so the Wednesday streams are going to be a little bit different. They're going to have a sort of a different vibe. We're going to get into the war room in the studio. And then what this will look like when there's a show that's out there is we'll be doing our watch parties like really, really early in the morning, okay? We're still going to keep the watch parties public, but then I'm going to pretty quickly after we're done with the watch party, I'm going to get out of there. I'm going to unlist the watch party, and then we'll get right into a reaction breakdown stream, okay? So you can still catch the watch party if you're not a member, but after it goes live, like afterwards, then it's going to be members only, okay? So we'll sort of unlist it after that, and then we'll get into a big stream. So, like, even if you don't like doing the watch parties, maybe you just want to, like, you watch the show, and then, like, you're up, you want to watch some content about it, you can go check out that stream. So we'll be doing that stream, like, pretty much right after the shows happen. And then there will not be a stream at all until 6 p.m. that night. So just something we want to start trying to work on. You know, things can always change, but that's more or less what we wanted to do. I also know there's a lot of you guys that can't make the streams in the morning, and a lot of you watch them on replay or whatever. And I wanted to have an evening stream at least once a week where we can hang out on the evening time. So you can come on bike and get some nerd coin. You can hang out as we read comics. You can watch me try to play some video games. You know what I mean? It should be fun stuff like that. So that's what we're going to sort of start getting into with all of that. But I'm going to go ahead and shift into Q&A now, ladies and gentle beings. If you do want to support the channel, you want to support the content, or even just make sure that I read your complaints about me, make sure you send in a super chat. We'll go over all super chats that come in within reason. If you don't have any loot, do not worry about it. Totally understand. But you might want to wait until I get through the super chats, and then I'm going to hang out in the chat, and I'll go over your questions then. Okay? So that's what we shall do. Let me get it pulled up. Oh, I do want to say as well that this stream, as well as all of the streams, are brought to you by the Nerd NERDVENGERS, those beautiful people you see in chat with a badge next to their name. Consider joining the NERDVENGERS today. You get all sorts of benefits for doing so, and you get access to the behind-the-scenes streams. Matthew Walter joined the NERDVENGERS last night, so you are a NERDVENGER now. RJ Brando rejoined yesterday. You are a NERDVENGER again, and Gavon Johnson, welcome to the NERDVENGERS. You are a NERDVENGER now, my friend. Okay. Oh, and you know what I want to do? I just want to. I don't even know how to poll this. I don't even know how to poll what I'm trying to ask here. Did Josh do a good job of being positive? Whoa! What the hell? What the hell? All right. Did Josh do a good job of being positive yet critical? And you guys let me know, right? If you're like, nah, man, this dude's just being a butthole. You know what I mean? If you're like, nah, man, this guy's just making me feel terrible. This guy's making me feel terrible about liking this movie, then put no. But if you're like, nah, I can see where he's at. I can see what he's saying. And I'm still hyped about it. And he was positive, and he didn't make it smell like a bunch of farts in here. And he went full on shill, then put yes or whatever. Whatever you're feeling. Here we go. Can't wait to see how that goes. Okay, here we go. Gavon says, theory reminds me so much of Cap with his list of things to watch and catch up on. Captain Canada, LOL, don't cancel me. P.S. Can't wait to see your take on Eternals. Much love, brother. Yeah, thank you so much, man. Yeah, he does kind of have that, like he was mentioning on the, when we were doing the charity stream, right? He was like, dude, I'm so uncultured and all these different things. Hey, he just likes what he likes, you know? But yeah, he does kind of have that list of Cap. And maybe that's what Canada's like. Trev, is that what Canada's like? Like it's all of you guys are like Cap being frozen in the ice, and it's just so cold that you can't like move at the proper speed, and therefore like you don't see as much stuff and have as much culture. Trev, please let me know. Is that what's going on up there? Let's see here. Michael Smith says with a $5 holla, from early reviews, I already know Josh's stance on the movie. Bring on the connective tissue issues. I mean, it could be. We'll see. I'm not so bothered by that. I kind of like the recontextualization. I think for me, if there's gonna be an issue, it's going to be that, like, if it's really exposition and there's really not the chemistry that you thought, like, it's an ambitious film. You know, the idea of doing an ensemble cast and doing all this and bringing all these people together, it's a very ambitious idea. If that aspect of it just simply doesn't work, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how much I'm really feeling all this time spent establishing all these different characters just to end up at this particular place, then I might not be as keen on it. But I'm going to go in with an open mind. It's very possible that I'll be like, bruh, this is how you do it. And I love these characters and like, dude, this is really fun. Like, oh man, and this ride's really crazy. I love all the different powers. I love the lore. Like, I'm into the lore. I want there to be more of that lore. But my thing is this. If the big twist in the movie, which we've been talking about for over a year now, but again, we're not going to talk about here, but if the big twist in the movie doesn't actually lead into other bigger ideas, that's going to be a little disappointing for me as well. Like in the video yesterday, I was talking about how I was like, okay, at base, this is fun, but what I think it might mean is even more interesting. And if there's more context like that given to, like, you know, the Celestials and what they're actually about and all of that, oh man, I'm really looking forward to that. Maybe that's in there, maybe it's not. We'll have to see. Let's see here. Dag says with the 50 rupees or something of that nature, says, can't wait to see Galactus showing up to save everyone in Eternals. It's going to be Liddy on a titty. Indeed, it will be. But we said no spoilers. Darth Bayou says with a $5 holler says, don't let Josh forget about the VV drop in 25 minutes. Hey, we got it, man. Let me check and see if mine was delivered yet, too. It usually takes me a while. Ooh, I already own one. Okay. Bruh. 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 Okay. I got a ultra rare, boys. Yeah. Not a secret rare. And the secret rare one looks like that is a very clean looking cover. That is a very nice looking secret rare. But your boy got an ultra rare. I'm going to show you guys. This is awesome. I've been missing. I'm really pumped about that too because I've been missing some of these. You know what I mean? Like, I've been missing some of the comic drops or whatever. There's my ultra rare. Look at that. Woo! That's what I'm talking about, man. Whew. Ultra rare. Let's go, baby. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for reminding me. If it weren't for Kendall, I probably wouldn't have got that for real. I looked down at chat and saw him say that. Super Nate says with a $5 holler says Disney saw the Batman trailer and said delay everything. Yeah, it's funny you say that. I know a lot of people were saying that in like on social yesterday. I just don't see that at all. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, Marvel, especially when you think about a movie like Doctor Strange and what it's going to do, I think Marvel's pretty comfortable. You know what I mean? Going head to head with pretty much anything DC puts out, I would say. You know, and yeah, the Batman looks sweet. You know, I'm excited for it. It looks hype. It's really brought me around. But no, I don't buy that. Do you guys think that? Like in chat, do you really think that he's afraid of the Batman? I highly doubt it. Dag follows up saying, "Do you think the Celestials will have voices? Are they beings that talk or what?" I hope so. That's not really something I've seen expressed out there, but I hope so. I hope they don't just stare and look ominous. You know what I mean? Even if they speak, you know, robotically or like with broken senses or whatever, I really hope we get some of them speaking. You know what I mean? Stormy says with a $2 says super hyped. Also, never mind my tweet, Josh. I misread. Oh, it's all good, brother. I think you were saying, and maybe, you know, we've sort of explained it in this stream, but what you were saying is like, I don't even see bad reviews or whatever. You know, like, what are you talking about? So, you know, as I said before, I'm just trying to basically show you that there are certain things that are being said that could represent, you know, just a kind of a lesser dope part of the film. There's some aspects of it, particularly like just it sort of falling under the weight of its own ambition, a lot of exposition, the fact that it's very not Marvel-y. So there's just, I won't be surprised if it comes out and has a mixed reaction, you know, frankly. And that's okay, too. Like, that's totally fine. I think a lot of us still will really enjoy it. And I'm going to enjoy... Look, I'm going to take a lot of enjoyment from the film regardless. I do hope that I'm surprised when I leave the theater and I'm like, whoa, my personal take. Because, dude, guys, this is the thing that's so wild. We talk about spoilers. We talk about reviews. We talk about all these different things. But at the end of the day, you got to go in and just see how's your experience. What's your feeling on the movie? What did it actually do for you? You know, and you never know, man. Like, I might be so encapsulated by the beauty of the movie that I might think it's amazing. I might come out and say it's the best thing the MCU's ever done. I might come out and say, bruh, change all of Marvel to look and feel more like this because it's amazing. That's possible. But what are we here to do? We're here to nerd out. We're here to talk about these dope, nerdy things. Eternals just came out. Everybody's talking about it. We got to talk about what people are talking about. You know what I'm saying? Dorian Trussell, very generous, probably way too generous. Maybe you put an extra zero in there. $50 hauler says Eternals feels like an Avengers level cast and the director coming from manga. Reminds me of Fairy Tail with a big cast and good story is what it sounds like. Hiro Mashima, creator of Fairy Tail, refuses to go into retirement and made Eden Zero for fans. Oh, I like that. I'm actually going to check that out. I don't know if I know much about Eden Zero, and I'm going to check that out. And I have not read Fairy Tail, to be honest with you, so I've heard it's really good, but I'm a little out of my depth there when it comes to those anime. But yeah, man, there's a lot to take away from it, a lot that could be really, really cool. The Exodus with a $2 holler says, one movie can't make 13 years inconsequential. Yeah, I tend to agree. Super hopeful that that's not going to be a thing. But that is kind of something that's being said out there, right? So it's an interesting thing to at least take into consideration. Mate, by the way, do we have a winner? Do we have a winner? Here, let me pull this up. I'm actually not crazy about this song either. Turn that song there. What the heck's going on, Streamlabs? What the heck's going on here? Streamlabs? It's like loading. I'm a little bit concerned. Is it working in the chat? Is the raffle working? Hey, look, 83% of you said we did a good job today. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. Thank you very much. Dude, what is going on with this, Streamlabs? What are you doing here? Bruh. All right, I'm literally going to exit that and come back in. Because what's the deal with that? Okay, cool. Looks like we're good. Okay, are you guys ready to see who the winner will be? Are you ready? Here we go. It might say it in chat before I see it pop up. Did it say it in chat? Did it say it in chat? That's a B minus? Oh, well, I'll take it. B minus. That's about the best I can do. Mike Motherflippin' Porter won? Let's go. My man. My man, Mike Porter. Got yourself a first appearance of Beta Ray Bill. License to Shill. Coming to a theater near you. That's dope, man. I'm glad. Hey, Dorian, thank you again so much for the generous super chat, man. Okay, let's see here. Mate says, seeing Dune tomorrow in IMAX, nerdgasm of the year. Hashtag take my money. Okay, that's, first of all, incredible. I'm happy for you. That's dope. I think you're going to have a great time. If you all are going to be watching Dune at home on HBO Max, you know, look, we all have different feelings about that. If you want to, Mr. Star Wars Theory and myself are going to do a Movie Bros watch party. So Thursday night, I don't have an exact time for you yet. It'll probably be a little bit later than when it releases because HBO decided they're going to release it Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? Theory and I are going to do a watch party and a breakdown of Dune. Okay? So on Thursday, if yous guys out there want to watch Dune with myself in Theory, because everybody's saying it's the new Star Wars. Well, hey, man, we're going to check that out. We want to see for ourselves. Is it the new Star Wars? Is this going to be the next big franchise? Is this going to be the dopest dope you've ever smoked? Come on by and check that out. I also want to tell you guys that I'm going to be watching Halloween Kills later today. Okay, I'm going to record some of my reaction to it because I know you guys like to say that. And then later tonight, Theory and I will be doing a short vid/stream about Halloween Kills and talking about that movie. Okay, so apparently it's on Peacock. I'm going to be watching that later today. Not really looking forward to it. I don't like horror movies. You guys know how I am. I'm going to be a big wimp about it. And I'll record some of that for the stream so that y'all can see some of my reaction. But yeah, so we're doubling up on Movie Bros stuff this week because we missed last week. So yeah, look forward to that. We'll be reacting to Halloween Kills tonight and then Dune Thursday night. So if you want to do that, it's going to be a good time. Big Steve W with a $5 holla says, Marvel fans don't know how to react to a film that is basically like a DCEU film. They can't bring themselves to hate it like DC. Their world is shook. I think there's something to that, Steve. You know, and I know you're being a little tongue-in-cheek, but I think you might be onto something. How ironic will it be if this movie goes on to be one of the most successful, heralded, loved, critically acclaimed Marvel movies ever made? What does that say? That's wild, bruh. Because again, it's a Zack Snyder movie. It's got his style upon it. You know, all due respect to Chloe. I know she's her own person, does her own thing, but for real, it's a DC. It feels like a DC movie. How's that gonna there's a lot going on with this movie that's like bottling my mind. You know, like I can't believe other people are saying the Zack Snyder thing. I mean, I know I've been saying it for months, but other people are saying it. Actual critics that don't just live in a third floor basement and you know live a weird nerdy life like me. Like real people are saying it. I don't even know how to react to that. I will say that for this movie in particular, you know, I sort of had an idea of what to expect with Black Widow. I sort of had an idea of what to expect with Shang-Chi, right? With this movie, I'm really interested in how I am personally going to view this movie. I got a feeling, guys. I'm going to love it. I've got a feeling that I'm going to just be swept up in it and be like, whoa. But we'll see. I did point out a bunch of things today that are like, you know, seemingly issues with the movie. But I've got a feeling, man, that I'm going to sit down and be taken on this journey through incredible cinematography and that I'm going to want more of that. But then from Marvel's perspective, what do you do in that example? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's a really interesting. It's like a meta commentary in a lot of ways. It's really interesting. But yeah, Stevie, you got a point. You got a point, my lad. You've got the point there. All right, let's keep going here. Carl says with a $5 holla says, lower expectations and get me some popcorn from film school. That's what you learn, right? Eternals, greater than Venom. Stop overthinking. Hang on now. Let me think a lot about what Carl just said about not overthinking. I think he's got a point. Thank you for the love, brother. Mate says, the post-credit scene is stylish. Adore you, Josh. Ah, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. That's fun. Are you talking about the post-credit scene for Dune? There's a Dune? Wait. What are you talking about? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Tobin, very generous, $20 holla says, Marvel has better movies, but DC has better characters. Batman looks sick, but them making Reverse Flash and alternate Barry sucks. I think it's still too early to reset the DCEU. Side note, Eternals releases on my B-Day. Get hype! First of all, thanks for the support, man. I really appreciate it. Also, yeah, I don't know. This whole DC Marvel thing, I mean, really and truly, I love both, right? So I actually started out being more of a DC guy. Like when I was younger, it was always Justice League, Green Lantern, Superboy, Superman, Batman. Like that was always my stuff, right? Like that's what I love. Over the years, though, Marvel really captured my imagination, and I started to like Marvel more. And now I think it's just pretty obvious that I like Marvel more, right? But when it comes to like the movies and stuff like that, like I have a deep love for the mythology of DC, and like I love the identity, like it's really solidified identity of these characters, which makes playing with that identity and presenting difficult things to these characters fun. But it's just a simple thing where it's like DC does not execute even close to the level of Marvel, in my opinion. And that's just the day and age we live in, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you got to sort of hats off to Feige and Marvel and everything they've done, right? It's pretty amazing. Okay. So let's see here. Sinister Gain says with the $5 holla, says it's a good thing someone here went to film school and can break down all these reactions. True. True. You know, at the time, I thought I was actually going to make movies. You know, I was like, man, I'm going to go out. I'm going to write movies. I'm going to make movies. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be the next whatever, you know. And instead, now we just sit in the tower and we talk about tweets that talk about movies. But if I didn't go to film school, I wouldn't be able to do that properly. So thank you very much, Sinister Gains. Much love, brother. 34 Virgo says with a $10 holla, says, I don't know. Eternals trailer seems meh to me, but yet I'm excited to see the characters and how it connects to the MCU. Also, I wonder if the boy playing a young Namor is the post-credit scene for Black Panther 2. Wait, what? I wonder if the boy playing a young Namor is the post-credit scene for Black Panther 2. I'm a little bit lost on what you're saying there, man. I don't think that's one of the post-credit scenes for Eternals, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah. As far as Eternals, like, and what you're saying there, yeah, I think the lore and the aspects of the lore is going to be a big part of it. I hope the characters and the chemistry is actually really good and, like, not bad. Like, as long as it's, like, passable, you know, then it's good. But I obviously want it to be really, really good. So, we'll see. I definitely think there's connections to Eternals. Okay, so I can't really get into spoilers of what I think this might be, but remember those earthquakes that they talk about in Endgame? I think those earthquakes that are talked about in Endgame are a part of what's going on in Eternals, and also will tie in very likely to something that happened to Namor or maybe Atlantis. So I think that's kind of the way it's going. Scott F says with a $2 holler, says, Josh, you getting the making of the MCU book? Yeah, definitely. I haven't really looked at it, to be honest with you. I've been wrapped up in some other concepts and ideas, but I definitely want to get it, dig in, and make some fun content because it's what I do, you know? So thank you for that. Michael Smith with a $5 house says, my first super chat was an attempt to throw shade, and you had to go give thoughtful, nuanced response. Smack my hand, take my money. I apologize. Maybe it's like Carl says, I was thinking too much about it. Maybe I should have just taken the shade. My bad, bro. Diamond Joe with a $1 super chat and doesn't say anything. D says with a 55 of something, says, why did I get banned from Discord during fandom? Not cool, man. Not even a warning. Hashtag sad Vengers. By the way, I am Dag Dag. If you're Dag Dag, then why are you also D? And I don't know why. Wait. You're Dag Dag, but you made a separate account to come in and say this? Bruh, I don't know why you got banned during DC fandom. You probably said some outlandish shit. You know what I mean? You probably said something where I was like, I don't know about this guy, and then banned you. Just, how about this? Make another account. Call yourself Dag Dag so we know who you are. And maybe we'd be a little more lenient of it. But also, don't be ridiculous. Big Stevie says with the $5 holla, says, I think everyone needs to see the short you did in college to believe you were in film school. Which one? Which one did you guys want to see? We can maybe do that. RG2088 with a $5 holla says, seems like Eternals will be No Man Land in the MCU, and No Man Land felt like a national geographic piece, very documentary-like. Guess we'll see. Yeah, that's true. Look, I think my overall point here is that, like, as a Marvel fan, go in with an open mind. But I think it might cushion some of the blow a little bit if it does lean in that direction and it's wildly different than the stuff you saw before. Then maybe having known that a little bit beforehand might soften that blow. If you go in and expecting a certain thing, like, you know, more regular MCU stuff, and you had no contemplation, no idea that this other stuff could be happening, I actually think that sets you up for a bad experience. I think this primes you for a little bit more of an enjoyable experience. It's kind of like going into Venom 2 and like understanding that it's going to be a short movie. It's not going to revolutionize Venom or Marvel movies. It's going to be a fun ride. It is what it is. Go in and enjoy it, right? I mean, like, when you research a movie, like, there's always this fine line. I find this to be really interesting. Like, what is the line between researching a film and seeing what it is about? Like, it's very rare. Like, when's the last time you guys saw a movie that you literally knew nothing about? You rolled up to the movie theater, looked at the board, and said, okay, I want to see that, and went in and watched it. When's the last time you did that? I would venture to say probably never. I've actually done it before, but it was like back in the day, right? So what's the line, what's the difference between knowing what a movie's about, reading the log line of the film, and reviews, and then spoilers, right? If you read a log line for a movie before it's officially released, is that a spoiler? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. For me, it's like, I don't really care. And my experience of watching a movie is completely separate from my experience of like researching a movie or trying to figure out what a movie is about. For me, it's a totally different thing. And when I'm in the film, especially if it's a good movie, I'm going to be taken to a different place. I'm not going to be there with a checklist, like saying like, oh, this is that, this is that. I might have a few of those thoughts throughout the movie, right? But by and large, you should be so wrapped up in that experience, and the music and the characters and all of it should work together to take you on a ride. So if you're being taken on a ride, that's a completely separate and different experience than, like, you know, going on Reddit or going on Twitter to see what people are saying about a movie. So I don't know, man. For me, I feel like a lot of people, like, the thing that I thought was so refreshing about what Greg said was, look, a lot of this, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but a lot of this is what it is. And what it is I got invited to the premiere. I'm going to be a little bit more positive than I might normally be about this movie because I want to get invited back to the premiere. I want to, you know, continue to have access. I want to continue to be in Marvel's good graces. Therefore, I'm going to, you know, if I have this belief, this maybe nuanced belief, or if there was some stuff I didn't like and there was some stuff I did like on social media, I'm going to choose to be more positive about a thing. I'm going to choose to ignore the things that I didn't like because I want to be pro Marvel. Honestly, like, I understand that. I get that. But I think from my position, it's like, let's try to see what's really going on here. And I legitimately thought it was really refreshing to hear Greg say that, where he's like, bruh, I talked to all these motherfuckers. They are telling you something different on Twitter than what they told me last night. That in and of itself is something I think people should be aware of, you know? But your mileage may vary on that. For Cuscala Lopez with $100 of a currency that I think is actually $1 billion. I think you just dropped a clean Billy. So thank you so much for that, for Cuscala. I hope you're doing well. Says, hey guys, been away on a trip and missed a week of Nerdvengeance. I think I'm still drunk. Missed you all a lot. Josh, take my money. Well, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate the support. Not this weekend, but I think the weekend after it, next weekend, we're going to try to have another Diamond Lounge stream. Those things always get really wild. So we'll do another Diamond Lounge stream and just be hanging out, maybe having a couple of drinks together, talking about crazy stuff. But by and large, I don't know how much crazy stuff you missed. Fandom was a lot of fun and got a little wild. We had a love fest yesterday on the NERDVENGERS stream, so just holding it down here in the tower, man, and of course, very happy to have you back in here. So thank you so much, man. 34 Virgo says, remember the young boy that took a picture with one of the actresses saying he played a boy whose father was killed by a monster? Yeah, I remember that. I don't know if that's a thing really in the movie. Maybe. It's not something I've been hearing people talk about, so maybe you're right, bro. But I don't think that's a post-credit scene. If anything, that would be in the movie. Kendall, with a $5 holla, says, I took an African-American film studies course in college, even got an A. Does that qualify me to read reviews? Take my hard-earned money. Yeah, absolutely. I would say so. I would say it gives you a unique qualification to read reviews. You should probably start a YouTube channel. Thank you, Kendall. I appreciate the support, my friend. Appreciate the support. I want to hang out in the chat for a little bit here. Let's see. I don't think there's anything else. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Okay, a couple other ones. I'm going to fly through these, and then we'll get into the chat because I definitely want to see what you guys think about it. M. Spiro Jr. with a $5 holla says, I'm going to watch you're going to watch the Injustice movie. When's it come out? Yeah, I'm going to watch it. I've heard mixed things about it, but I'm definitely going to watch it, bro. I'll definitely check it out. I'll let you guys know on stream what I think about it. Michael Smith says with a $5 says, I love the spoiler talk and love hearing your thoughts. I always think, though, what if I didn't know Hulk was popping out in Sakaar? Visual Blue Chew. Yo, I love it, man. I love that idea. Yeah, look, different strokes, different folks. I think content changes over time. I think, we've been evolving sort of our perspective on these things where, look, I'm about to do a video later today and talk full-on spoilers. Some of you will go check that video out. Some of you will not. But I think it's safe and fair to keep the spoilers packaged in such a way that you know full on what it is, you know what you're getting. If you want to engage in that content, then you obviously don't find the spoilers to be a problem, and hopefully you can still go on and enjoy the movie. That's kind of on you. But there's a lot of people here that, like, they want to know maybe about rumors and reports, but this is a little bit different, right? Because this is where rumors and reports meet, oh, motherfuckers actually saw the movie and confirmed some stuff. So that's different. That's not a rumor. That's people that saw the movie and told me what was going on. So I don't want to talk about that on a stream. You know what I mean? Because somebody could just wander in and then have their enjoyment taken away because of that. So, it is what it is. We try to cater it to the diverse audience that we have and the sort of diverse feelings that I think people have about these things. So, hey, we're doing the best we can over here. We're certainly not perfect, but appreciate the support. Dorian Trussell says with a $20 holla says, forgot to mention that Hiro Mashima said he'll not go into retirement as long as the fans want his content. Literally working on manga for Rave Master, Eden Zero, and Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, Fairy Tail Next Generation. Wow. That sounds pretty cool to me. This dude sounds like a pretty cool dude, man. I'm gonna have to look that up. Dorian, thank you so much for the support. Yeah, so he's just like straight up like, I'm gonna keep doing this stuff as long as the fans want it. That's awesome, man. I respect people that get burned out by stuff though and need to walk away. Like, I think Toriyama, and maybe you feel differently about this, Dorian, but I feel like Toriyama, man, that dude grinded from like the 80s. He grinded for like 19 years, or maybe it was even like 24 years, just constantly cranking work out. And I think at some point, he does deserve a break or whatever. But I also understand what you're saying, where it's like, man, and dude, for sure, like, you gotta love that shit. Like, if a dude or a gal or whomever, a creator, right, has this audience, you consider yourself to be a part of that audience, and that person, the figurehead of that whole brand or whatever, just turns around and says, look, I'm not going to retire. I refuse to stop doing this as long as you guys want it. Bruh, If you're one of those people that wants it, hell yeah. That is some dope stuff to hear where you're like, let's go, dude. Like, that's what I'm about. But I also think that, you know, yeah, it's a little bit nuanced, right? It's a different strokes, different folks kind of thing. Like, Tarantino's going to retire after 10 movies. Do I wish he would just make movies forever? Yeah. Do I also understand why he's doing that? Why he would want to stop and retire and have like a succinct body of work? I absolutely do. You know what I mean? So appreciate the support, man. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love. Okay, a couple more supers coming in. I'm going to get through these, and then I want to get into the chat. Y'all are just very generous today, and I really appreciate the support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Harris McGrady says with a $5 holla, says, what say you in the age-old debate around even checking trailers / rumors prior to watching a film? What brings more happiness, anticipation or surprise? Let me think about this for a second. You know, I do know some people that won't even watch a trailer for a movie. I do. And I think really what it comes down to is how do you measure the value for yourself? And if you're one of those people that's like, I want to just be like, I want the whole first wave experience to happen just then and there, then yeah, I think that's totally acceptable. And I think there are people that feel that way. But I feel like there's a lot of people that like, and this might sound a little pious or whatever, but it's like, I think there's a lot of people out there that are like, they hear spoiler or they hear the word leak and it just automatically has this negative connotation because they're like, this is ruining the story for so many people. But that's sort of like a weird apathetic feeling because it's like, who are all of these people that you think the movie's being ruined for? I would venture to say most of those people are imaginary. It's like you're forming this imaginary army of people that basically that variety writer went into this room where there's a bunch of people in there that are like, I'm really excited for Eternals, but I don't want to know shit about it. And the variety guy comes in there and he's like, check this out, you know, and they all like can't look away, plug their ears or whatever. Like, I feel like there's a lot of it that's fucking made up, bruh. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of this is just people come up with an idea and then sort of backtrack using a lot of confirmation bias to confirm that it's a bad thing. Like most things in life, they don't really think it through, in my opinion. So thank you for the support. Big Stevie W with a $10 holla said, imagine if someone saw Mando season 2 and spoiled that surprise. If you knew that was a certainty, you never would have reacted as rally. You can still appreciate it, but the emotional impact is muted. See, I disagree. But here's the thing. That's probably your truth, and I'm not denying that that's your truth. That's your truth. But we made videos talking about Luke being the one like the whole time. Now, was there an air of mystery surrounding it because it wasn't confirmed? Yeah, for sure. There was this air of mystery around it, but I would argue that regardless of whether or not you knew that was coming, like I would say, like even Mark Hamill, who obviously knew it was coming, I bet when he sat down to actually experience it, the way it was shot, the music, the way the music was built, the way that they shot it so you weren't quite sure, it creates this feeling. Cinema itself, by the way, is fake. But it uses different things like sound, motion, lighting, all these different things to recreate experiences. Why, when you watch like a really scary movie or whatever, does it give you those feelings? Bro, there's no reason. It's a screen. Shouldn't do that to you. There's something innate to our brains, to our minds, that when a good visual story happens, it recreates feelings. Have you ever watched a movie more than once, Stevie? Remember, I always bring this up. Have you ever watched a movie more than once? Is it possible to enjoy a movie or to enjoy a show more than once? And is there not a sense of anticipation? Like, how many times have you watched the end of Mandalorian? I've watched it a lot. And every time I watch it, there's a sense of anticipation. There's another sense of swelling. There's excitement about it happening. And I know it's going to happen. It's not like I go into that show every single time I watch it and be like, I wonder if Luke's going to show up this time. You know what I mean? So it's just that, like, while I get your perspective on it, and maybe that's more true to you, I don't agree flatly that's the thing. Now, surprise can be really, really fun. Surprise can be really, really cool. But I don't think that's where the juice is at, for me personally. Let's see here. The Exodus with a $5 holla said, are critics afraid to give less than glowing reviews to Eternals because of diversity? Will disliking the movie default people as extremist loonies? I think that's a fair question. I think that is a fair question. I mean, it's sort of one of those questions where it's like, it's really hard to answer. I think on an individual level, there could be some of that. Like, there could be some critics that are like, especially if they're like on the fence about it, or like, here's what's interesting, right? Like, I think about Rocha a lot in this situation, because I mean, Rocha obviously, you know, if you know anything about the dude, he cares a lot about Latino representation. And he's made comments about wanting full Latino representation, not taking an old white character and just making it into a Latina, but full-on Latina representation. Like, what is the Latina perspective? Like a character maybe more like Blue Beetle. You know what I mean? Like, there was this really interesting part of DC fandom when they were talking about that actor and they were talking about that project, and he was like, look, Peter Parker hides that he's Spider-Man from his family, but you have a Latino family. You know, you can't hide shit from a Latino family. And that's like it's coming from Latinos. It's coming from an authentic Latino place. Feels real, right? It seems like John's criticism of the movie is that he doesn't actually buy the chemistry of the characters, therefore it doesn't have an attachment to him. I don't think he's afraid to be conceived as a person that doesn't like diversity, right? But depending on how you exist out there online and what your personal persona is, perhaps that is a concern out there. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's an interesting question. I have some thoughts about it that I'm going to put in the spoiler video, because there's this one point that I think you guys are really going to like that I want to make, but it talks about the spoilers. So, I can't say it. I can't say it here. I'll say it in a spoiler video later on. But it is an interesting discussion. It's a fair question. I don't think it's out of line. I think it's a fair question. Michaela with a $5 holla says, I'm deaf in the minority, but I love spoilers. I'm also weird and will skim through the end of a book before reading it. I know people that do that too. My anxiety can't handle not knowing. That's interesting. You know, hey, different strokes, different folks, Michaela, and I appreciate the honesty. I get where you're coming from. Again, I'm not here to say my way or the highway. You know what I mean? But I'm here to say this is how I feel. You know what I mean? While also trying to be respectful to people that feel like Stevie. You know what I mean? So it's like, I want to be respectful of that. I'm not here to ruin things for people, right? And even when I talk about spoilers, I'm not like the type of dude that's going to go beat by beat. Like, I'm not going to tell you, like, for instance, in the spoiler video today, like, here's the thing. I know beat by beat what happens in the movie. Like, 100%. But I'm not going to do the video today and be like, so here's where they first meet up. Here's the next one of the Eternals they're going to recruit, and here's what they are doing. Here's what happens next. I'm not doing that. That's not what I'm here to talk about. What I want to talk about is this one thing in particular that I think is going to blow people's minds, and I don't know. I'm really interested to see what people think about it. And then the 2 post-credit scenes. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at with it. You know, that's what I think about it. But appreciate you saying that. Okay, let's get into the chat a little bit. You guys really threw a lot of super chats in there. I really appreciate it. But I want to spend some time just hanging out in the chat. What do you guys all think, man? Let's see here. Renee says, I'm okay with spoilers, but it's one thing to know what happens. It's another to see how they pull it off visually. 100%. I agree. My buddy won't even watch trailers. Like, how do you consciously get away with that? Hey, people do it, bro. I know people that do it. Does Josh not read membership chats? They just don't pop up in this place that I go to check out the... They don't pop up on the one part where I'm actually like looking at all the super chats. So usually I do not read them until like the end, right? So I don't really have a perfect answer for you on that. Like, I love the membership chats. I think it's a great concept, but I literally, like, they just literally don't show up on the one part. You know what I mean? And then I can't scroll back up to see them all. So it's really like kind of a flaw in the system. You know what I mean? BBS memes. We'll go over more memes on Monday. I want memes and meme reviews to mostly be done on Mondays. Josh doesn't care about us. How dare you? How dare you? Anyone here been keeping up with Spencer's Amazing Spider-Man? I have not. Is it any good? Do I think that Matt Donnelly should get in trouble for tweeting the end credit scene? Yeah, probably. I mean, only because, like, he's such an established voice and he works for the trade. Like, he probably shouldn't be doing that. Like, it's probably a little bit different with, like, you know, plebs like me doing it, right? So, I would say yes. But also, like, come on, Disney. Like, you had the right idea. Like, this just shows, like, how wild Disney is, right? Like, Kevin Feige literally says on the red carpet, the better question is, why'd they announce this shit today? Like, that's my man. Like, that might be one of the first times I can visually see him not just riding for the company, right? And it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but it's true, man. This dude is literally out here being like, you know, the better question is, the fuck they have to bring that up today for? That's what White Shug was saying in his head. You know what I mean? But, you know, he's the company man, et cetera, et cetera. But, like, that's real. That's weird, bro. So, I guess what I'm saying is, my point is, Disney just shouldn't have shown the post-credit scenes. Like, why'd they have to do that? They had the right idea before. Grand Admiral Dano says, with a 9-month membership at the Prime level. Thank you so much for that support. Says, watched Mando a bunch of times, but only the first time did it bring me to tears. Reports okay. True spoilers, I'm not a fan of. Will smash like later, but won't watch. Totally fair. Totally fair. Totally fair. Yeah. Wait, the end credit scene is leaked? Yes. Both of them are. In fact, both of them leaked a year ago. That's the other part of this that I think is weird. Is like, why are people surprised? Is it just the fact that it's like confirmed? You know what I mean? Dr. Glorfindo says, Josh, do you think the M word, mutant, will be dropped in Eternals? And if not, then in what MCU project will we hear it? I don't know. That's interesting. That's one of the things I'm kind of looking out for in the movie, right? Is like the dialogue. A lot of dialogue doesn't get leaked because they're just doing like beat by beat stuff. Like, and so dialogue can have a lot of surprises. A lot of interesting things can be revealed via dialogue. So I hope so. The Injustice movie came out today. Oh, That's pretty nice. I tell you, I would much rather watch Injustice than freaking Halloween Kills. I'll tell you that. For sure. Rama Tut or Apocalypse Teased? Yeah, that would be cool. That would be really cool. Move on from that question, Josh, because you know the answer. True. Have you heard anything about Zora's being in this movie or Alar's? Who knows? Maybe they'll be in it. With the stylish and adore you, Josh, super chat, I was talking about Eternals post-credit scene. I was hoping you'd get the puns. Oh. My bad, bro. Can YouTubers remove comments from the comment section? 100%. But also YouTube does a lot of that, right? So like if you ever get a comment removed, it could be a YouTuber, but it also could just be Google. Like Google removes stuff all the time. You know what I mean? So any Black Panther 2 updates? Nope, not that I know of. Still moving along, you know. Josh totally censored himself. I know, I did. See you later, Jameson. See ya. Oh, that's awesome, John Sparks. I'm glad you were able to catch it, man. That's cool. Happy to have you here. By the way, guys, I do have to get out of here. So I'm going to get out of here. Remember, no stream tomorrow morning. No stream tomorrow morning. Instead, we will stream at 6 o'clock at night. I think we're going to start out by reading a couple of issues of comics together. And I love doing that with you guys. We're going to talk about, like I like doing the voices and like giving the commentary and all that sort of stuff, right? So we'll read some comics tomorrow night, and then we're going to do some gaming. Probably play some Halo, maybe some Apex. If you all been trying to do some gaming together, we will do that. So it's going to be fun. Hop on some Apex with you and Kendall. Dude, I'm down. I am down, man. You want to do that tomorrow night? Yeah. Yeah, so that's going to be the new thing is we're going to do Wednesday streams at night. Mm-hmm. Any chance you can read my membership message after the stream, then message me on Discord or something? Well, just hit me up, man, on Discord. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't think I can pull it up after the stream. You're not going to stop lying to us? No, I'm doing it. That's the whole point. The whole point is to make Wednesday streams a little bit different so we can play some games together and just hang out. Yeah. Darth Clean, membership chat for 16 months. Says, hey Josh, I don't know if you remember me saying a year ago I was engaged, but our wedding is next Friday. Can't wait. Thanks for all the amazing streams. That is amazing. Congratulations to both of you. That is amazing. Congratulations to you. It's going to be a good time. Yeah, 6 p.m. 6 p.m. tomorrow. We shall stream. Streaming in the evenings. We might even do some gaming like on slower days in the afternoon and stuff like that. You know what I mean? All right, guys. I must get out of here. I'm going to try to record the Spoilers Eternals video. I'm thinking about titling it Josh Ruins Eternals for Big Stevie W. Must watch content. No spoilers. And then tricking Steve into clicking it and being like, oh, hey, Steve, check it out. Here you go. Spoilers. Shit. Spoilers. So. Yeah. All right, everybody. Much love to you all. Hope you had fun on this stream. I'm still really excited for Eternals. There's some interesting things being said. We talked about them today. Also recapped a little bit of the whole delay thing. I don't think there's anything to worry about there. Marvel is still the best in the game at execution. So that's why we're all here. That's why we all love it so much. So I'm excited. I will see you guys later. If you are a Prime member, we will be doing a stream at 1 p.m. Come on back for that. We'll talk about some fun businessy stuff. I got an interesting thing I want to talk to you guys about today. and a little bit of the streaming tomorrow discussion as well. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody there? Did everybody leave? By the way, and here's a little tease for you guys here. Greg Alba actually gave more thoughts, his actual thoughts, on the film. Here's what he says. Basic summary. My emotional experience was a bit hollow. Storytelling didn't elicit much of an emotional response, but was an interesting observation piece. Comments. You expected typical MCU, wasn't enough mindless Marvel action. You didn't get it. You're too slow. He says he never implied that. 99% of the comments from people who haven't seen Eternals flat out say can't say much because of embargo, so I can't further elaborate. But if I implied it was typical MCU, then I get a bunch of crap either way. How about listen? It's interesting, right? Like, he's just trying to say it didn't elicit the emotional response that he was looking for. But I think he's still saying he really likes the movie, right? So it's just interesting. You know, like that's all I'm trying to say. That's all we're trying to say. Is that it's interesting. I think that the discussion around the movie, it'll be really interesting to see what people say when it comes out. I was really trying to strike that whole thing of like not being so intellectually curious that it seemed like I was crapping on it, while also trying to give voice to the reality that I think is going on out there with the movie. That's all. And remember, this is for fun. We're here to have fun. And also, too, just to brag a little bit, I totally told y'all yesterday on the post-credit scene, on the stinger yesterday, what was going on with the Marvel productions, and I think I was right. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it. All right, ta-ta.